Hello friends, welcome to my channel Nihira Techiees, and in this video let me explain Material UI table in Angular application, and also I am going to cover the functionality of pagination, charting and custom search functionality. Now let me go to my application where we can start our implementation one by one. And the first thing is we have to import the required models. So here I am going to import three models. The first one is for table, and the second one is for pagination, and the final one is for charting. So table, and the model name is mat table model, and the second one, as I mentioned, it's a pagination, and the final one is charting. Okay, we have imported the required models. Now let me generate one component. We can provide the name as table. Okay, great, the component is created. Now let me include in our app routing model. So already we have this slider. After that we can include our table component. Okay, this is fine. Now let me go to the browser. Here we can use this table. See the text coming from our component. Next, let me go to our table component. We can remove this one. So instead of that, I'm going to include this table tag. So before proceeding this one, we need a data. So let me run my JSON server. Okay, our db.json is ready. So we can remove the existing items. And let me change this into customer. So here we can include our properties one by one. Okay, we have included the basic data, and this is our API endpoint. Okay. Next, let me go to our service side. Yeah, we have created one service there, master service. So here I am going to use the HTTP client. So before that, we have to import HTTP client model in our app.model. Client model. Okay. So let me save this one. And in this constructor, we can inject the HTTP client. Next, we can create our new function for getting the customer. And let me generate one model class also. So in this app folder, already we have this model folder. So there I'm going to create one interface. Export interface to customer. So here we can include all the properties, code, name, email, and the final one is active. That also is string only. We can format this one. So again, let me back to the service side. And here our method type is get, and the endpoint is customer. So already we have the model, so we can convert this data type into exact our model. So default all return types are observable. So that's what I am also using like this. And basically this observable belongs to the RxJS. So let me import it first. observable. Okay, and our model name is customer and customer array, and this result type also we can convert. Okay, our service point of view we ready. Now let me go to the component side. So in this TL file section, first we can create the constructor. So there we can inject our services, and inside that we can call our services, get customer, we can subscribe this one. Basically in this response only we will get our complete customer information. So here I'm going to declare one variable, the customer list equal to customer array. We can set our service data into this customer list. And here we can declare one more variable, data source. The data type is any, and then we can have one array that is for displaying the columns. So basically this is the string array. So here we can include all the fields one by one, the code name and email, phone status, and the final one is action for showing the buttons. So next we can assign the values into data source using mat table data source. And here our object customer, and then we can pass the existing data customer list. So let me format this one. So currently we have done the basic changes in our TS file. I hope we will get the data also. So next let me work on the HTML side. So already we have declared one table, and here I'm going to include one directive mat table. So already we have one data source. Same thing we can use it here. And the next thing is we have to define our columns. So before that, let me include one tr tag, and this is for the header. So the directive is mat header row, and our mat header row definition equal to the display columns. Okay, and here we can have one more tr tag. So this is for the body information, and the directive is mat row. Okay, and then mat row definition, let row, and the columns is or display columns. Okay, so next we can define all the columns one by one using ng container, and the first column is for code, and here we can include the th and also td. Okay, th is for header and td is for our body columns. Okay, and in this th we can directly put this value, and we have to include one more directive, mat header cell. Okay, and mat header cell definition. The similar way in our td, so the directive is mat cell. So next, mat cell definition equal to let element, and here we can bind the value code. Okay, I added one column, still I'm getting some error. Cannot bind the data source since it is not the known property of table. Okay, okay, the problem is we have to include the directive like this. Now let me include all the columns one by one. It's not going to take much time because already we have done one column, name, and the date also name, and the third one is email, and the fourth one is phone, and the final one is status, and the last one is action. So initially we can have the empty data only. So let me save this one. Okay, see now currently it is showing our table. Okay, okay, see now it is showing the data that actually coming from our API. So the look is not that much good. So what I'm going to do, so in this HTML side I'm going to include this mat card. So the mat card already we discussed in our previous video. Okay, so inside the mat card content we can move our table. See now it is somewhat fine. In our table I'm going to include one class, and in our mat card we can include one custom CSS change. See the output now, it is somewhat improved. Okay, and the next thing is, instead of the single data, let me include some more records. I am already having some records handy. I'm going to include it here. So let me refresh the screen once again. See, we have a lot of records. And one more thing, so in this action side we can include two buttons. Okay, this is our action. We can have one button and the name is edit, and the directive is mat raised button, and the color is primary. And the similar way I'm going to include one more button, and the color is one. See, the button is included. Now let me include some space here. Again in our CS file, okay, it is somewhat fine. And the next thing is I'm going to include the pagination here. Okay, for the pagination I'm going to use the element is mat paginator, and we can include the property page size options. So basically it is the array. So I'm going to provide 5, 10, then 20. Okay, these are the options. And also on directive, first, last buttons. See here we have the pagination. So the option is 5, 10, 20, and we have the buttons, everything in the disabled because the paginator not exactly synced with our table. So that's what it is showing like this. So in this case, what we supposed to do in our TS file, we can use this view child option, and here we can use like a mat paginator, and our object is mat paginator. Okay, and in this data source, paginator equal to server paginator. So let me say this one. See the response now. Okay, still it is not working. Okay, the spelling is paginator. Okay, great. See, now it is working. So in the initial page it is showing 5 records. So if I am clicking the next to 5, and the final screen we have the single record. So if I am selecting as the 10 records, the same page we are able to get the 10 records. Okay, so anyway, let me keep it as the 5 records, and that is fine. And here I'm going to include on BR tag also. Okay, now I'm able to see the difference, right? The paginator and also our table. And the next property I'm going to include the shorting here. The shorting also almost the same. The first we have to include the directive mat short, and the next thing is in our TS file, the similar to our mat paginator, we have to use mat short. Mat short. So after that, so in this data source, we have to use the short option, and let me set this one. Okay, this is fine. And finally, in our th side, we have to include one more directive, mat short header. Now I just included for the column of code only. See, we have the arrow mark. See, the shorting is working. So the same way, if you want to include for all the columns, the same directive we have to include in our all of the th section. See, for the all columns having this shorting option also, and it is working fine. And the final functionality is filtering. For the filtering, I am going to include one form field that we can include in our card header section. Okay, and here one input tag, and the placeholder is enter the text, and the direct is mat input. See, now we have the search box also, and here we can include one event key up. The function name is filter change. Now let me define this function, otherwise it will show the error. Data type is any, So instead of this any, let me change this into event, and next constant value equal to this data target as HTML input element dot value. So finally, so in our data source, we have to include this filter option, and the value, the same value we can use it here. So let me save this one. So I'm just typing Surya. See, so in the second page I'm having this Trisha. So currently I'm in the first page. I'm trying to search Trisha. Yeah, it is coming. So that means our search functionality also working. So let me show the final demo. I am just refreshing the screen, and you see all the data are populated from our API, and we have this pagination. So after that we have the sorting, and the final one is our filter operation. Okay, so all are working fine. And if you require to include any custom colors, that actually we can handle it from our style itself. So let me change the table header color. So the background color I'm going to give black, and let me mark this as the important. And the color, I mean our text color should be we can give white. That's fine. See the screen? Yeah. Okay, great. Now we are in the end of the video. Still, if you have any doubts or clarification, please post in the comment box. And also, please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you. Thanks for watching.